I mean, there's absolutely no way that you can risk not captaining Haaland this week. Hello FPL family, my name is Akshay and welcome to my first proper FPL video. Yesterday I uploaded my first actual video on this channel. It was just a little introduction explaining who I am and stuff like that, so feel free to go and watch that. But hey, what a time to be starting an FPL YouTube channel, hey? This week is literally one of the most important game weeks there's been all season. There's a few double game weeks and there's been fixture changes, so it's gonna be a bit crazy, but that's why I'm here, to give you all the FPL tips you need. In today's video, we're gonna be going through some transfer tips and some transfer possibilities that I have for you guys with a few must-haves in each position, so make sure you stick around for this. Just before we get into the video, if you do want to help support the channel, please do consider subscribing and leaving a like on the video. It will help me out so much. And let me know what you guys think of the content and the format that I've put together for the videos, if you like it, and things you don't like, if you want me to change anything up. But other than that, I think we're ready for the video. So getting started with the forwards, and I mean, it's clear as day that Haaland is probably the most sought out pick here. If you don't have him in your team, I'm not really sure what you're doing, but he is my must-have forward for this game week. In his last 5 games, he's been all right. He scored 4 goals with expected goals of 3.34, and obviously assists is not that high for Haaland, 1.38, but his expected game week score this week is quite high with 14.2. He's got Man United and Tottenham, and obviously big game player, so I think it's an absolute no-brainer. But his next 5 expected points is what just drives me mad. Like 51.7 points is extremely high when you compare it to all the rest of the forwards or even any other player. So yeah, he's a must-have for your team, and he's definitely a triple captain option this week. I mean, obviously he's got a double game week in game week 23 as well with Aston Villa and Arsenal, which could potentially be a bit easier, but you could definitely make a strong case this week for it as well. So now moving on to the rest of the forwards. The way I do this obviously is ranking them by their most expected points for this specific game week. So even though sometimes it might be in order of the next 5, it's just for this specific game week. So obviously you have Harry Kane, he's got a double game week as well, Arsenal and Man City. So to begin with, Harry Kane, no-brainer as well. He's got a double game week coming up, Arsenal and Man City, and he absolutely loves scoring against Arsenal. 16 Premier League games against Arsenal and 14 goals. So yeah, he's pretty much relishing that fixture, isn't he? And then next up, Anthony Martial. I know a lot of people actually transferred out Martial for Mitrovic's last game because he had a double game week. So it's unfortunate he got the yellow card, but Martial's got a double game week coming up, and then I do believe Man United have a possibility to have another double game week in 22, I think it is, with Crystal Palace and Leeds. So yeah, that could be another huge play, stacking up on Man United players. The only thing that concerns me with Martial is his minutes. I'm not sure if he's going to play the full 90 in both of them. And then you got the FPL troll that we all love, Darwin Núñez. Man, his underlying stats are incredible. In the last 5 games, right? 10 big chances, 18 shots in the box, 12 on target, 23 shots overall. And it makes me laugh because his stats are crazy, but he's only scored 2 goals and they're 2 assists. He's such an annoying player if you own him. I transferred him out a couple weeks ago, I think. But yeah, I would stick by him. As crazy as it sounds, I know he's so annoying, but he just gets himself in so many good chances, and with Gakpo there now on the left wing, I think they will do a lot better going forward, because I know they're conceding goals for fun at the moment, but going forward I think they might have that little bit more of an edge, and especially in the FA Cup he played pretty well, he scored, so yeah. And then the last 2 to mention is Ollie Watkins and Calvert-Lewin. I'm not going to go into them too much, but for this specific game weeks, Watkins is playing Leeds and Calvert-Lewin's playing Southampton. And Aston Villa, to be honest, are looking pretty good under Emery, but Watkins, you know, he's another FPL troll. And in terms of Calvert-Lewin, Everton aren't doing the best, so I wouldn't really go for them, but it's just worth mentioning. Now moving on to the midfielders, my must-have pick for this week is KDB. I know he's been another troll, and he's been absolutely terrible return-wise in his last 5 games. 0 goals, 1 assist. His XG 1.03 and his assist 2.8. He's been playing all right. He's been creating quite a lot of big chances as well, but he just hasn't been getting the returns, and it's really strange to see. But now moving on to his game week points expected for this week, which is 11.6, and then his next 5 games is 42.3. And just like Haaland, it's quite a lot higher than the second in line, which is Son. But just another thing to point out with De Bruyne, Man City do play on Wednesday, and I know he didn't get any minutes in the FA Cup, obviously, because they didn't need to. They won 4-0. And so I highly doubt that he's not going to play 90 minutes in 2 games running. So it might just be a little thing you want to consider. I don't think it's too much of a big issue, but yeah, definitely my must-have midfielder pick for this week. Next up, we have Son, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, you're crazy, because Son has been in terrible form this season. But hear me out, okay, hear me out. Firstly, the stats don't lie, and his expected points this week are second joint highest with 8.3. But he did get a goal in his last Premier League game, and he did play all right. I did watch a game. So I think maybe he could pick up some confidence. You know, Tottenham have got big games coming up, and they haven't been playing the best. And they need to grind up points from somewhere. So I think Son, he kind of has to hit form now. So yeah, I would have a punt on him. It is a bit of a differential. I don't think a lot of people are going to be going for him, but it's just a punt, and it's a decent one in my opinion. And then you've got Marcus Rashford joint with expected points as Son with 8.3, and he's literally on the form of his life at the moment. He scored once again in the FA Cup, and he's been on fire in the league. He's got a double game coming up, as we all know. So yeah, it's definitely worth stacking up on Man United assets at the moment, because they've got a lot of games coming up and they're actually playing really well now. And then next up we have Bruno Fernandes, who's a big differential, and it's somebody actually I'm eyeing up quite closely. Like I said with Rashford, the double game week stuff coming up is huge for him.
Fernandes.
Alexa, stop. What the hell? Why is Alexa talking about Bruno Fernandes? But anyway, I'm moving on. I'm going to actually keep that in the video because that was funny. But yeah, what was I saying? His stats have been decent over the last 5 games as well. He's created 6 big chances in the last 5 games, had 10 shots. And I personally think now Ronaldo's gone, it's a matter of time before the flip switches and Bruno hits that form pre-Ronaldo again. I think it was 2 seasons ago. He was an absolute joke in FPL. I'm just waiting for that moment. In my opinion, it's a matter of time. And when Bruno does hit that form, his returns are going to be crazy, and I think he's just going to be a must-have like he was a couple years ago. So yeah, a very, very interesting pick in my opinion. And then next up for expected points, you have Wilfried Zaha on 7.6, but I personally would stay clear of him because Crystal Palace's fixtures coming up are extremely difficult. Chelsea, Man United in game week 20, 21 Newcastle, and then Man United. I personally would stay away from Zaha, but I just had to include him because he is ranked 5th for expected points for this game week, obviously for the double game week. But actually, when you work out the maths, they're pretty much 2 blanks. Well, they are 2 blanks. So yeah, definitely a no-no. And then last on the list is Gundogan. You can pretty much consider any of the other Man City midfielders as well. They were very similar on expected points, and the next 5 games expected points too. I won't talk too much about him because there is just way better options than him. So yeah, I'm going to move on straight away anyway to the defenders. And for the defenders now, there seems to be a consistent theme of this video. There's quite a lot of FPL trolls in this video. Cancelo. This guy, well, not just me, like loads of people have stuck by him through thick and thin. But in the last 5 games, man, clean sheets, 0. Assists, 0. And expected assists as well, 0.24. I know he hasn't been getting minutes, obviously. That makes a huge difference. But even when he's been playing, he hasn't really been doing much. You saw in the FA Cup that he got hooked after 45 minutes at half time. Guardiola did say that he felt sorry for him because he was playing him out of position, but I just think he's so hard not to have for a double game week. But this week he does have the highest expected points for the defenders on 8.7, and in the next 5 again he's the highest on 32.4. And then next on the list you've got Akanji and Stones, in my opinion kind of guaranteed starting centre backs for City. I know Ake has been playing a lot recently, but sometimes he does drift to left back. So yeah, you can, if you want more of a safe pick for players that you know are kind of guaranteed a lot of minutes, then you can go with them too. But I'm pretty much going to move straight on to the Man United defenders. Shaw has been amazing. I'm so gutted that I didn't transfer him in when I think it was 2-3 weeks ago when everyone was transferring him in, because I did lose out on quite a bit of points with him. But just for the same reasons as before, they've got a double game week coming up. They're highly likely actually will have a double game week coming up in 22 as well. And he's been performing great. And then you've got Perisic. So, Tottenham defenders, eh? They've got Arsenal and Man City. I personally would stay away because I just don't see Arsenal and Man City not scoring against Tottenham, and Tottenham have been woeful recently. But you see, this guy can just have one explosive game week, or one explosive game, sorry, and get in like a couple of assists, even a goal. So he is a potential. If you have him in your team, I wouldn't rush to like transfer him out, but there are better options. So moving on to my differential pick now, which is what I mean by better options. Dalot is back, man. And Dalot, in my opinion, is great. For the 4.7 mil price, I think he's great value. That's the one thing I've noticed with Man United players, because they had such a bad run, a lot of their players dropped a fair bit. So you can get quite a lot of them for decent prices at the moment. So yeah, Dalot I think is pretty much a must-have in your team. A lot of people have got Shaw, and if you don't have Shaw like me, Dalot's that other option where you can maybe get a little bit of that edge or kind of keep on par with the Shaw owners. So definitely high consideration for Dalot. But finally, we're going to be talking about the goalkeepers. Ederson is definitely the must-have goalkeeper for this game week. He has the highest expected points with 7.7. I know City they've only kept one clean sheet in their last 5 games, so it hasn't been the best. A very strong picks. De Gea, as soon as that double game week's going to get announced, which is highly likely, I think he might overtake Ederson in the next 5 expected points, definitely. So I would actually put De Gea over the long term as a good pick, as a must-have pick. But for this game week, yeah, we'll stick to Ederson. And then just some small mentions. You got Gaeta, Lloris, they both got double game week fixtures, but I wouldn't rush to get them. Pope is just a very solid and reliable goalkeeper. And Newcastle's fixtures coming up are amazing. Fulham, Crystal Palace, West Ham and Bournemouth. I would back them to keep 4 clean sheets in a row. They haven't conceded for, 6 games in the league now. So yeah, definitely Pope's a must-have. And then Pickford, I'm not really going to talk too much about him because Everton are not on good form. But for this week, he's 6th on the list for expected points. But that is pretty much it for my first ever FPL video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Like I said at the start of the video, please do let me know in the comments if you do like the layout and the editing style that I've done for the transfer tips video. I think it looks quite good, so yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. But the next few weeks in FPL are going to be crazy because there's going to be so many fixture swings. So if you did enjoy the video and want to see more, please do consider subscribing and giving the video a like. It would massively help me out to boost the channel. But other than that, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you for the next FPL video tomorrow.